Hello, everybody. I'm Meredith. Welcome back to another episode of the Apex F1 podcast. I'm joined by my co-hosts Paul and Josh. Josh is fresh off vacation, so how you doing, Josh?
Doing great. Got a little bit more tan than I was a week ago. Just going to enjoy this last week of work, and then we're going to be together in Texas.
Woo! I'm so ready. And your skin will thank you this coming weekend that you planned a beach vacation before because that sun is going to be piping hot and blasting down with minimal shade.
Well, it'll be fun.
Paul, how are you this week?
I am doing wonderful. I hope you guys are doing really good as well. Look at that. I got a new hoodie. Testing.
I was gonna say, show off the new merch.
It is pretty cool. It's got the QR code on the sleeve there, which is pretty friggin' dope. But yeah, I am super pumped. I just started like about an hour ago. I started getting all my stuff ready for our flight this on Friday morning because we are all going to Austin, Texas.
I'm so excited. Joe at lunch, he was like, okay, so what's the plan? When are we picking them up? When are we heading out? Like he's getting pumped too. And then he was like, okay, well, if the three of y'all need to like go do stuff, like I'll go find other stuff to do. And I was like, no, Joe, like you're chilling with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's really okay.
No, he is included in all the plans that we have.
So I told him, I was like, you'll be fine. He's like, I can go scope out like content spots. He did that in Miami, and he was actually really good at it.
I am here for that. I'm here for that because, hey, listen, we're going to need an adult, and I hope Joe can be the adult because we
Someone's gotta do it.
We might be a little unhinged.
I'm so excited. I feel like, like it's just been like building. Like we've all been hanging out since like March or April. And like you guys have obviously like seen each other and been friends and worked together. But like for the three of us to finally be meeting at COTA, my favorite place on earth, is just so special for me. And I am very pumped. And related to Paul's hoodie, he got hoodies made for us, which like I'm super excited about. And if y'all really like them and want us to make them and sell them, we absolutely can. But related to that, we do have some koozies to give away at COTA. So the first three people who find us, whether you listen to us or you know us from socials, the first three people who find us at COTA, and we will post each day where we're going to be posted up, hanging out. We'll post stories so you kind of know where we are. But the first three people who find us are going to get koozies with our Apex logo on it. So you're going to need koozies out there because it's going to be hot and you're going to need a beverage. And what better to wrap around your beverage than an Apex podcast koozie? Am I right, guys?
Of
Absolutely.
course.
I am a big fan of the koozies.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I'm a fan of koozies. I'm a fan of beverages. Like I just posted my like things to bring to COTA video, and koozies are on there. And not a lot of people use koozies, I guess. Like I don't know, I guess that's like a southern thing, but like I take my koozie with me when I travel on work trips, and people are like, "Did you bring a koozie?" I'm like, "Yeah."
These are the ones just on my desk. I have another one in the kitchen, but yeah, I am a big koozie guy.
I've got a bucket of koozies.
If you don't have a koozie drawer in your kitchen, who are you?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Well, we're excited. I'm not going to be wrapping my Apex hoodie at COTA because like it's going to be the temperature of the surface.
No, it's going to be way too hot, but winter is coming, so give you some. It's really soft and comfortable. I've been just lounging in this one all day.
Winter is coming. I'm excited. I'm very ready for winter. Very ready to be rocking my Apex koozie. But hey, if you like the hoodie and you like the koozie, if you want some Apex merch, we can make that happen. Your girl can make that happen. So if you're interested, holler, send us a message, and we can make it happen for you. But we are super pumped. Circuit of the Americas is just, I feel like the timing couldn't be better coming off of all the drama that happened with McLaren at Singapore between Oscar and Lando. This is a track McLaren does pretty well at, but this is also just a really fun track, and I am super pumped. I love all forms of racing at Circuit of the Americas, but Formula One is clearly my favorite. I mean, I just think we've got super high speeds. We've got a lot of turns. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities, and so I'm really pumped about it. It's going to be, I think, like my sixth time at the track, which I'm like super excited about. Like each year it still just feels better and better, but it's y'all's first time. So I'd love to hear, Josh, I'll come to you first. I'd love to hear your thoughts on COTA track, like what you're most excited about.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This has been one of my favorite circuits on the calendar for a while, so actually getting to see it in person is going to be really neat. I kind of I'm going in with no real expectations. I really haven't done a lot of honestly research or looking into kind of what is going on around the track during the event, because I kind of want to just experience it for the first time, in person, and just kind of be shocked and awed at everything that there is to see. So I'm really excited, but I don't know yet what I'm excited for because I don't know. But I'm super stoked to be there.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. So I'm just going to be like a little kid going to Disney for the first time and just absolute shock and terror and just being overwhelmed in all the good ways about, just being immersed in it. So I'm super stoked.
Well, I will tell you that you've got a pretty good guide. You know,
But yeah,
as a seasoned veteran, I feel I'm going to show you all the good things, all the ins and outs. I don't know if you guys saw, there's COTA and Amex have a partnership, and they do that with a lot of Formula One tracks. But there are just a lot of things that if you have an Amex card, you get access to. Like you get free radio sets. You can go up the COTA Tower. There are certain towers, certain times a day where as long as you have an Amex, you can go up the COTA Tower free of charge and you can bring three guests. So we're set. We're going up the COTA Tower. We're going to take you to all the spots. We're going to take you to the fan zone. We're going to go to all the things. Look at Paul. He's so pumped. Like I'm going to show you a good time, Josh. I promise.
but yeah,
I want to set the bar high for y'all. Paul, what about you? What are your thoughts? What are you most excited about?
Listen, much like Josh, I think we've all been Formula One fans for a little while now, and COTA is just one of those racetracks that you mark on the calendar. It's a really fast track, a lot of good overtaking, and with the drama with McLaren that we'll get into here in a little bit, it really makes for a very fun weekend. I'm super stoked. I'm super excited. My algorithm for the past week and a half has been things to bring, what to prepare for, and all the things. Constantly, you're seeing it on Instagram and on TikTok, all the fun activities there's going to be. I'm just super pumped. I'm ready to soak it all in. It's going to be overwhelming, just the amount of stuff that's going to be there, but I'm super super excited. And you had mentioned, you had texted us in the group chat a few days ago if there's anything we really wanted to do. I was like, I don't care. I am here. I'm a sponge. I'm here to soak it all in. I'm here to have a great time. And yeah, super pumped. I can't wait. I just started packing it like an hour ago. I'm ready. I'm ready to be there. I hate that I have to work 2 more days before I can get there, but here we
That's the
go.
worst part is that like I have to be a professional for the next like three whole more work days
Yeah,
of like
this is
fully focusing on my job before I can switch to like my full passion.
listen, I'm having somebody work for me the back half, the last 12 hours of Thursday. I'm going to let my hair down. I'm just going to let loose the
I
entire
love it. I was
time.
looking at my calendar for Thursday and I was what was I like my Thursday is stacked. So I'm like, I'm gonna be packing tonight. Like I'm gonna pull all my outfits, I'm gonna make my outfit videos tonight, go ahead and just pack everything up and just like have it all done. So I can be like, whew, it's done.
I got my portable charger ready to go, my GoPro, extra batteries. I got the microphone all ready to go. We're good.
We are set. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, super excited.
My algorithm is the same as yours, Paul. Like everybody talking about their packing tips, like all the different events that are going on. And I will tell you, like, it is overwhelming. It is. And to y'all's point, like you're just gonna like take it all in. But I feel like I have a very controversial opinion. Like for me, I would rather invest all of my energy of like being out at the track and just doing everything that the track has to offer. Like I'm not the person who wants to like wait and get there, like 1 hour before qualifying starts or whatever. No, like I want to be at the track full day because there are other racing series that are out on the track, which is really fantastic. But I like to take advantage of all the activation and stuff that is at the track. Like if you are new to COTA, COTA is about 20-30 minutes outside of Austin, and that's without traffic. And so with traffic, it can sometimes be an hour, 2 hours. And so I think there are a lot of people posting about all the activations that are happening in downtown Austin. And while I think that's really, really fun, that to me is more overwhelming than just like actually being at the track all day, like trying to plan and coordinate, like going in town, going to, the Williams, whatever, like going to the Danny Rick pop up stuff. Like that is the stuff that's really overwhelming to me. I don't like doing that stuff because to me, it's just like such a hassle to fight a crowd for overpriced merch where I'm like, I would rather invest all of my money and my time to being out at the track and taking advantage of the full schedule, knowing when drivers are coming on stage at the amphitheater, being out there for that, getting out there and doing the COTA Tower. So I have a bit of a different COTA take than some people who really like to go do all that stuff that's in town, downtown. So that's why I was like, what do y'all want to do? Because I've done COTA. So for it being y'all's first race and your first time at COTA, that stuff's important.
Listen, for the amount of money we paid for these tickets to get in, I'm getting my money's worth, and I'm going to stay at the track as long as it can, from sunrise to sundown if possible. And it's one of those things that if we were there for the whole week, like starting Monday, yeah, I would like to go into downtown Austin and do all those pop-ups. But unfortunately, it wasn't in the cards this year, maybe next year. So I really want to, I think I agree with you, and I think Josh is on the same mindset as us, is let's just spend as much time as we can on the track and just take it all in, because ultimately that's what we're there for.
100%. Like I don't see like I see y'all liking that stuff and being able to let's go to the amphitheater, be there to listen to the drivers talk. I see y'all liking that more than y'all liking, being at the Williams pop up and like maybe seeing James Vowles talk for 5 minutes and then us like standing around like waiting in line for a sim. I'm not saying those events aren't fun. I'm just saying for the three of us, I feel we're better off just maximizing our time on track, going home, chilling, swimming in our pool, hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that. I think for me personally, that's what I'm excited about the most is, like you mentioned, there's other racing series that are going on at the same time, right? So for someone like me who does follow some of like the F2 and F3 stuff, like at least some of the names and some of the storylines there, like that's stuff I am interested in getting a peek at as well. And like you said, like I want to see drivers that I've been following for years. I want to see them up close and personal. At least get to hear them talk in person would be really neat. So I'm 100% with you. I think the tracks offer so much in the way of hospitality and entertainment for us fans. So I have no qualms about staying there for a long period of time and really spending our time exploring everything that is there. Because I'm sure it's multiple days worth of stuff to do, and we're going to
No
have
doubt.
plenty of time to do it. So I'm really stoked to just spend as much time as we can down there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And there's a lot of variety in the food that they have at the track. Like they have all types of cuisine. So it's not like you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm eating chicken tenders and a burger for, 5 meals in a row. Like there's a lot of variety. So get a ton of different types of food. You can see, we get to walk all the way around the track. So like we'll be able to see everything. We'll go to the fan zones. I'm gonna make y'all eat a big turkey leg with me. Y'all need to know that now. I get down on a turkey leg at
Yeah.
the races. It, I love it.
I'm fat for a reason. I like food.
Y'all are gonna see me crushing ranch waters. Do y'all drink ranch waters? Do y'all like ranch waters, or
Yeah.
y'all?
I've never
Oh
had
yeah,
one before.
I like ranch waters.
I've never had one.
You'll like them. They're good.
I'm so excited right now. We're gonna crush some ranch
Listen,
waters.
I'm
It's
gonna have
basically like canned tequila soda with lime.
I am going to have a koozie in my hand, and I expect there to be a drink in there at all times. Whatever it
100%,
is, I don't care. I'm just going to enjoy it.
100%. Body count will be high. It's gonna be
Yes,
fantastic.
absolutely.
I ordered these little packets there. It's called like True Lime, and it's like these little crystallized lime packets. And I always take them with me out there to make it extra limey. It just hits right. Hits right. Okay, well let's switch gears. Let's actually talk about the race. Like I'm so pumped about like all of us hanging out and us having a good time, but let's talk about the actual race that we have coming up. Like I where we are in the season with, with the McLaren drama, with Max being on a heater, with George coming back out of freaking nowhere. I am super pumped for the racing that we're going to see this weekend. I think it's going to be incredible. We also have a sprint race, which is one of my favorite things about this weekend is that we get to watch sprint race and regular race. So we get two opportunities here. We've got two qualifying, two races. Hell yeah. What more could we ask for? So I think we're going to see some really good racing on track this week. I think with it being so hot, I think, it really is going to mimic maybe some of what we saw in Singapore in terms of performance with the temperatures being very, very similar. I just saw a bunch of the stuff on the Formula One app that they're saying that, the vests might be coming into play because of the heat here in Texas right now. So, Paul, I'll come to you first this time. Kind of like, what are you thinking about this weekend? What have you heard anything, seen anything that makes you think anything otherwise? And then you can also go ahead and throw out your prediction.
I think I can speak for the three of us. I think the biggest thing we're looking forward to is what happens with McLaren. what happens with the Oscar and Lando infighting. Is there infighting, or are we going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya and cross the finish line at the exact same time? So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really stoked. Yeah, it's going to be another hot race. Normally, I would say at this point that Mercedes is going to do awful, but we saw what that car is capable of in Singapore in that heat. I know it's not going to be quite to that level. It's going to be in the high 80s, low 90s that whole weekend. I just checked. So George is so seemingly had a resurgence in his career. What's Max going to do? I'm looking forward to seeing that. And also, can the Ferrari have a better showing this go around? Or are they just going to look embarrassing? So there's a lot of questions, a lot of storylines, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot better than last few years where Max had won it and it was just whatever happens happens. Now it's like so many questions need to get answered on this weekend and going forward. Super pumped.
What are your predictions? What do you think
I
in terms of podium and shocker?
I think we're gonna have a pissed off Oscar. I think he's just gonna show up. He's just gonna race with his elbows out. I picked Oscar to get first. I picked George to come in second, and Lando to come in third.
Okay.
And then my shocker prediction, is that one of the Williams and one of the Haas's will end up in the points.
Okay, I like it.
It's written down. It cannot be changed.
I like it. All right, over to you, Josh. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think there's definitely several storylines this week that could go either way, right? Like we could see Max has got a pretty good history at this track, right? He's pretty dominant here the last several years, but there's some other drivers that do favor it as well. Lewis has spoken several times about how much he likes this track. So, as much as I would love to say that I have Lewis going very highly, I just don't see him getting in the top points here. So, I do think Max is going to come out hot. I think he's got a good track record here. He's didn't perform as well at Singapore. He's not as fast around Singapore as some of the other guys, so it just seems like that's more of his weak spot. But I think COTA is definitely more so his right up his wheelhouse for tracks that he can perform well at. Obviously McLaren, not really sure what's going to happen there. I think you can either see a resurgence of the team game and just back into the party lines, or we could see a little bit more of a squabble between teammates. I think this is kind of like the first opportunity we have to see the outcome of Singapore. Other than that, I mean, the midfield's going to be tight all the way around. Not sure. Yeah, it's really up in the air. It's your pick of the litter. You could say Haas is going to have a home weekend and they've got something up their sleeve that they could come out and try to get double points. You could say Williams has been looking pretty strong. Carlos has been doing much better. Had a lot of really nice overtakes in Singapore, so he could be on a heater. He could be up for points. The Aston Martins have looked decent, except for Lance Stroll. So they could be up for points. So it's one of those things where it really seems like from about 5 to 10 is really just completely up in the air, and it could really be anybody's for the taking. I would love to see Yuki Tsunoda get some points here, and that other Red Bull with that car looking a lot quicker as of late. My predictions, I'm going to go with Max winning. I think Max is just that strong around here. I think that he's just got this one. I think especially with 2 opportunities with qualifying, he's going to have a good chance to get that car dialed in a qualifying format, and he's just so dominant in qualifying that I think that's going to carry over to the feature race. For my second and third place, I'm going to take Lando and then Oscar. I don't think Mercedes is going to be up there again. As much as I'd love to see George with back-to-back race wins or at least podiums, I just don't see Mercedes being as quick around here as they were last week. I don't know if it's necessarily a fluke, but I don't think it was a true showing of what that car is pace-wise. So as far as shocker predictions, this is a really tough one because I want to go bold, right, and pick some good ones, but I think I'm going to go with Yuki Tsunoda being my underdog here. Yuki Tsunoda, I'm going to say 6th or better.
I would love that so much. Like I really am part of the Yuki hive. Like I love Yuki. I really wish that he wouldn't just like if him and Isaac could have just stayed in V carb, I would have loved to see them two just like dominate in the V carbs all season. So I really like that. But 6 or better, that
Hmm.
is a bold Josh. I like it.
You know, I'm always a fan of Josh's bold predictions. I think I try to
It
go a
usually
little.
pans out for him. That's why he's winning race.
Usually does a really good job. I try to go a little conservative and a little of what we think is going to happen. Josh just comes out of left field, and I'm here for it, man.
Hey,
Somebody's got to do it.
it's more
I
fun
love
when
it.
I just get to just pull
I love
random
it.
stuff out and just see if it happens.
Also, I want the record to show that if by some chance in hell Lewis wins this weekend, ugly tears. I'm just gonna ugly cry the entire time.
That
Just
was me last year. I cried last year, the end of the
yeah,
race.
hundred
I was
percent
I was just screaming, screaming. That was like when Lewis won at Silverstone, like I was
ugly
unwell.
tears.
And then Joe earlier, like Evelyn, Joe was like, did Silverstone already happen this year? Sorry, hey Biscuit, come here. Joe was like, did Silverstone hasn't happened yet this year, right? And I was like, no, it definitely happened this year. We were at the club, we watched it on the patio. Lando won at Silverstone. I cried. I'm like, basically, anytime a driver I like wins a race, I cry. So
That's reasonable.
we'll see what happens. Come here, crazy girl. Biscuit's on a heater right now. She's
She is.
barking at
She's
something.
excited. She's excited about these
She
predictions.
has thoughts about Lewis too. But Ferrari typically does pretty well at COTA. Even on off years, they perform very well at COTA. I don't, it's something about the magic of that COTA sunset and Charles. Like he just really loves it. So I would love nothing more than Ferrari to pull something out of the bag and just pull out a surprise shocker podium. Like, I mean, hell, like Lewis won that sprint race earlier this year when we weren't expecting it. So who knows? Who knows? Any given weekend, but Ferraris typically perform and deliver very well at COTA.
And
But I'm
I think that's the
but
best part about this year in F1 is the last few years it's been so predictable, and as of late you really don't know what's going to happen.
no,
McLaren doesn't
100%.
seem to be as dominant. Ferrari can either have it or not have it. What is Mercedes doing? Are they going to do really well? Are they not going to do well? Is Williams going to be there or not? Like there's so many unanswered questions and so many coin flips every weekend that it really makes things fun again. Instead of, well, Max is going to win by fucking 5 minutes and no, and then there's going to be a huge gap and I don't know what's going to happen. You really don't know this year.
Yeah. I think that's made it like nice. It's not just been like, like I think for me, the hardest season for me to watch was the 2023 season where Max won everything except the one race that Carlos won. I was like, yay, okay, good. Like, and good for him. Like, it was exciting. But I think that's what I've enjoyed the most about this season is like this truly has felt like the most competitive season I've watched. And I know some people would be like, that's crazy. McLaren's just absolutely dominated. But outside of Oscar and Lando battling and, them winning the constructors, like I think that it really has been a season that any given weekend anybody can deliver. So it's been a lot of fun.
What about you? What are your predictions for this weekend?
Yeah, I got Oscar winning. I think he is coming back with a vengeance. I think he has a point to prove, and I think he drives very, very, very well at tracks like COTA, where there are a lot of opportunities for overtakes. He's so good in corners. He is so good at overtakes. He just executes flawlessly. He's not afraid. He doesn't hesitate. I think he's going to have an incredibly strong start. So I think that impacts a lot. Come here, little one, then. So I've got Oscar in first, Lando in second, and I've got Max in third. Max does very, very well at this track, and he loves it. So I have him in third. I think it'll be interesting watching whether the battle will be between Oscar and Lando or Lando and Max. That's going to be kind of like what I have my eyes on. But who knows? I could have it all wrong. My shocker prediction, I also had Haas points here. I don't know. I think there is something about it being your home race that gives you that extra incentive. And like Haas has a huge presence at this race. Last year, we did the Haas Hangout, which is like the team dinner where you could go and you got to hear. We heard Io speak. We heard both of the drivers, which last year it was K Mag and Nico Hulkenberg. Um, it was Pietro was the reserve driver last year. He spoke, so it was just a really cool thing where you got to hear, and we got to go It was the Saturday night after the sprint race, and Haas scored points in the sprint race. They placed in top 8, and like that was just like hearing what I meant for the team. It was right when Toyota Gazoo signed a sponsorship with them. So I don't know. I just feel like Haas at home is a lot of really cool energy. Haas in any other race, you don't see a ton of Haas fans. You will see a lot of Haas fans this weekend, and I think that's really cool. I will be interested to see how it evolves in the next few years because Haas has always had a huge presence in the United States with it being the only American team. And now with Cadillac Racing coming in 2026, I am interested to see how many Cadillac racing fans we have out there this year.
And
So,
also, is Cadillac going to do anything for this American race? Are they going to have a booth? Are they going to have any kind of pop up thing? I was just going to
yeah,
talk about that.
that'd
I'm
be
really
interesting.
interested to see how they do this.
Yeah. I would imagine that if they were going to do their budget for that for a 2025 event, I would imagine they would probably do it
Vegas.
Vegas, do it
Yeah.
big, right? Like
Oh,
maybe they're going to reveal their livery, their
Like a
first
big
livery
launch, like
at
a big
the
launch
the Vegas
party.
show. I could see that being a better use of marketable funds, in my opinion.
yeah, I get that.
Plus, I feel like because Haas has kind of designated home turf as COTA, I feel like that would almost be like infringing if they did it. But who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they're just going to come out and assert some dominance. But we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think
Yeah,
Vegas is a stronger spot to do that because imagine you can bring all your stakeholders in there and show them a really good time and have a giant like blowout party, and it could all the glitz and glam that Vegas provides is a little bit more of a friendlier experience to the ultra wealthy than maybe Coda is. So we'll see.
100%.
Hey, Josh, do you have any fun things about this track? I know you seem to be the track expert. What about this track intrigues you the most?
The biggest thing to point at would be turn one. That's always very interesting. It's a
Big
huge,
red.
big old grade, right? So it's a big uphill. So it's very hard to spot a braking zone because you're pointing up. So the drivers are all looking up almost at at the sky, and it's very hard for them to pick out the braking zone. And there's so many different lines that you can take through turn one, that can either get you a lot of places or lose you a lot of places. So it's a very, very important one to nail. So that's the big one to point out. I really like the section just after the turn one. That complex of the S's is always real technical and tricky, and I just
Well,
love
I'm
the way it
glad you like
flows.
that because that's
Ah,
our viewing spot for Saturday.
nice. I love it. I love that section. It's so cool to watch the cars. Just the way that you can just really see the grip levels of those cars through the S's there. That's one of my favorite spots in the track. But there's several other really great overtaking zones after some long straights in the second sector that I enjoy as well. So I love COTA. It's such a well designed and laid out track. There's a lot of really fun sections to talk about, but it's generally one that does provide good racing.
This is one of those that I really hope stays on the calendar for years to come. I know their contract is starting to come up here with F1, and I really hope they can come up with a deal because I would hate to see this one go.
Yeah.
There's a 0% chance in my mind that this leaves the calendar. Teams love to lean into a theme, and because it's a set circuit, not a street circuit, like you think about like Miami, Vegas, all those ones that have been introduced are all street circuits that are not permanent tracks. COTA's a permanent track. Drivers love it, fans love it. It's one of the highest attended races every single year. Every single year it's breaking records. It's easy to get in and out of. I think there's a 0% chance that this is not getting extended.
Yeah, I would have to agree. If we can extend something dumb like Monaco, we should extend something fun like COTA. Sorry, I had to put my jab in there wherever I could.
Okay, so check and check. We've got Lance Stroll hate and Monaco hate. It is a
Yep.
classic Apex episode.
It's a yeah, one for the books.
Okay, well, any other closing thoughts on COTA before we transition to our next topic?
I don't think the magnitude of what we're about to do has quite hit me. I'm excited to go to the race. I'm excited to the three of us to hang out, but I don't think it's fully hit me until I'm at the airplane on Friday morning. I think
Yeah.
that's when the
Your first airport
excitement.
beer.
Correct. But yeah, I fly out really early, so I hope they'll be open. But I think come Friday morning when the plane takes off, hopefully TSA lines aren't extremely long. I'll get there super early. I think that's when it's gonna hit me, and I'm just super pumped and excited. I can't wait to see the amount of content, the pictures, the videos. all the fun things we do. I can't wait to show it to everybody, and our social medias are going to be blowing up for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I'm gonna make y'all do stupid videos with me.
I
Yeah,
am
well, of
all
course.
here for that. Hey,
Okay,
Josh.
well, Josh, any other closing thoughts
Yeah.
that you have on COTA?
No, like I said, I'm super. You know what? I will piggyback off what Paul says. I do not think the magnitude of the weekend has hit me either. Like even something as simple as like hearing what these cars sound like in person, right? Like you always hear it either through video game or speaker. Like it never does it justice, right? But like even the difference I could tell, like for instance, in the F1 movie, right? Like hearing the difference, it sounds from a TV speaker to like a movie production, level theater sound system, completely different, right? And I just know that it's going to be even crazier in person. Um, I know that like he's just seeing, right? It's like the team seeing the people in team kit and just really seeing people represent their drivers of their teams. It's gonna be super neat. I think just seeing the magnitude of what Formula One is in the States, like live on display, is something I have not fully grasped, and I think it's gonna be really neat.
Listen, Josh, as somebody that just attended his first race this year in IndyCar in Nashville, hearing that car crank up and that engine roar, it hits you so much differently in person. And then you hear him screaming down the track, and it made me super giddy with joy. And it was like feeling that vibration of zooming, and it was like, holy shit, this is real, and this is so much more excitement and thrill than what you get on TV. And there's truly nothing like it. I think it's one of those highs that I don't think I can get again unless I go back to another track.
Yeah. Hey, Meredith, I do have a question
I'm
about COTA for
almost
you.
so jealous of you guys getting to experience F1 for the first time. Like it is it is such a special thing. I wish I could re-experience it for the first time all over again, not just first F1 race, first time at COTA. I'm very jealous of you guys.
Hey, Mayor, I got a question for you. So I know at some of these circuits and at some weekends, I've seen a lot of social media stuff in the past where they have like heritage cars that they'll do a couple laps or whatever. Will they? Do you know
Yes,
if
they'll do
they've
a
got any?
heritage year.
Do they have any scheduled that we know of? Because I would love to hear a V8 or
Usually they
V10.
always do.
I would love to hear a
Yeah,
V10 in
usually they
person.
always do. I mean, I can't think of a year that I've gone that they haven't done it. I'll look at the full schedule and see when it is so we can make sure we're out there for it. But
Cool.
I can't recall a single year that we've been that they haven't done it.
Nice. All right. Cool.
I actually can't recall like a single race that I've been to that they haven't done it.
Yeah, I've
Like
always
now
seen
that I
that.
think about it. I will say the worst one was Silverstone last year. They wrecked. Like it was bad. It was like this like it was so bad. What?
They're gonna have wrestling at the thing.
God. Wrestling?
Ashland? They're
Wrestling.
gonna have a
Wrestling?
sarsaparilla too?
On Friday, there's gonna have wrestling. So COTA has an official app.
Yeah, get the COTA
Yeah,
app.
I've got
Yeah,
that.
so
I gotta
and
look
then
on
you
here.
can pull up your tickets from there, but they have a schedule and it talks about everything that's gonna be there. They have a mariachi band, they have wrestling. They have wrestling too.
There's
Oh,
2 wrestlings.
3.
Oh, there's wrestling every day.
Oh my God. Are we gonna participate? Are they taking signups?
They better. Can we sponsor a wrestler? The Apex Podcast wrestler?
There's line dance
Lucha
lessons.
Libre Wrestling. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is iconic.
Can
They
we
have
do
not had
lines?
wrestling before that I recall. This is
Can
amazing.
we do line dance lessons, guys, please?
Absolutely. We'll teach you to line dance for sure.
Dude, there is a lot going on.
Yeah, it's a lot. And there's even more going on than like what's in the app.
Oh, I'm super sorry. I totally just derailed this podcast because we're all staring at our phones instead of
I love
talking.
it. Okay.
But
I'm excited. We'll schedule, we'll plan everything out because
it is a lot of fun.
they'll also put out the schedule for like when drivers are going to be at the amphitheater, so you'll know who's going to be up there when. Like last year, we went up and did the COTA Tower there. When you're an Amex card holder, they have times that you could go of like, hey, you could go this time for free. And so we went up during one of those times, and we were up there when Carlos and Charles were out on stage right below us at the amphitheater, and it was just like it was crazy. You could hear it. It was so loud, but the Porsches were on track at that time. So it was like I'm looking at the Porsches, watching it from above, but I could hear the crowd cheering for Carlos and Charles below. It's just super cool. So we'll look at all the schedule and everything when drivers are going to be out there and make sure that we get you guys out to the stage for your favorite drivers and all that stuff, and that we don't miss a single thing for you. Okay, any other closing thoughts on COTA?
No, no, I'm good. Super pumped.
Okay, well, switching gears, related to F1, and related to McLaren in a connection, I want to do a quick grab on your thoughts on the Alex Palou versus McLaren situation that has finally made its way to court. I'm sure we've all seen in social media. I know we've had some messages on it, but there is all the drama that is unfolding with Alex Palou versus McLaren, where McLaren is pursuing damages of Alex Palou because he signed a contract with them back in 2023 to drive with them for the 2024 season, but he ended up choosing to stay with Chip Ganassi Racing because he was going to have a better opportunity to drive. As the What's coming out in the media is that Zach Brown very much made it seem like Oscar Piastri was not going to be a driver and that Alex Palou was going to be getting that F1 seat. And when he realized he wasn't, he chose to stay under contract with Chip Ganassi Racing. And Chip Ganassi Racing is funding the lawyers to go to court for all of this. And the biggest thing that has come out are the WhatsApp messages that were deleted. So, receipts proof timeline, Alex Palou has the messages. Zach Brown doesn't have the messages. They're saying that Zach Brown deleted these messages, but like, what in the world? What are your thoughts on the general situation? Do you have thoughts?
Josh, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. It's messy to say the least, and we don't even know the full outcome yet, right? Like this is a big old stain on McLaren as an organization, more so for the business side to me.
At a critical time.
Well, yeah, exactly. At a massive juncture where we're already kind of questioning the loyalty of the team with their current drivers, and we're now being fed like another line completely separate from Formula One, right? Like this is completely separate from the world at which we sit here and we talk about. Like this is in like a legal space now, but was like kind of backdoor business dealings where we're talking about a driver who maybe Zach Brown didn't want and was maybe forced to take, which almost reinforces what we're seeing. Well, it can reinforce a certain viewpoint if you choose to take it that way. That
A narrative,
with what
right?
we're seeing,
It can
yeah,
reinforce a narrative.
it can reinforce a narrative if you're looking at it from that perspective. So, it's easy to put the pieces together to fit what you believe, but until all this is like laid out in front of us, obviously the hearing is still ongoing, and we're still learning more about these messages that are deleted or screenshots and different things that are coming up every day. We don't really have the whole story, but it's very damning. It's very damning to McLaren, and it's not a great look for their image. It's not a great look for how they develop drivers and how they deal with driver contracts. They're not going to come out of this unscathed. Even if they were to win and get some of their money back, it doesn't. They may get some monetary benefit, but as far as image and reputation, it's very tarnished. But I don't think McLaren's going to win this. I think that Alex is going to win, and it's going to be even worse for McLaren because they're going to have lost this case, and all their dirty laundry has been aired out, and now the real conversation can start with, where does Oscar Piastri take this information? Does he take it and leave? Does he take it and, ask for a bunch more money or some more contractual stipulations that may secure him some more favor in that team? Yeah, there's a lot of questions that we will be asking through probably the off season on what this really looks like full-fledged out. So it's not looking good for old Zach there.
No, things are getting spicy for sure. And kudos for Alex for having receipts, being able to show those messages. And yeah, I'm sure there was that promise or that conversation of, hey, sign with Arrow McLaren and we do a couple years in Indy and then we'll move you up to Formula One. So, and what was the timeline between Alex signing with McLaren and Oscar signing with McLaren? Do we know what that one was? I don't seem to recall.
It was in an article I read, but it was Alex Palou very much signed under the assumption that Oscar was out of the equation, that he was not for consideration. Like, so the pipe dream was very much clear to Alex, and that was why he signed. And then when they signed Oscar Piastri, that's when he said, nope, not doing that. I'm staying with Chip Ganassi Racing because he was already under contract with Chip Ganassi Racing, but Chip Ganassi was going to let him out of that contract if he were to get the Formula One seat, which I think
Okay.
is a very, very, very respectful thing to do for a racer that has become an IndyCar champion.
Oh, absolutely. And also for them to fork up the money for lawyers for Alex now really goes to show what a good organization that is and how much they believe in Alex for the future. But
There's definitely going to be an adjustment to the like. There's an agreement. I think
no,
I read 2 different articles that said he's going to be taking a lower salary. It to
oh
like
yeah,
equate
no,
for that.
no doubt they're going to get their money's worth out
But
of
I
this one.
agree. Chip Ganassi is an amazing racing organization.
But you know what's the old saying? There's no such thing as bad publicity. I think there's bad publicity here for Zach Brown, and much like Josh was saying, whatever decision the court comes up with, it just feels like Zach loses either way. He's going to have a lot of cleaning up to do, and however the F1 season pans out with these last 6 races, it's either going to be really good for him and it's going to be, a good momentum going into 26, or it's going to be a lot of damage control this offseason with a lot more questions going into next year. So if I was Zach, I would be extremely nervous to see how it all plays out. And, I don't. There's a lot of F1 people that I envy, and I wish I was in their shoes. Zach Brown is not one of them right now because he is not having a great time right now.
I gotta tell you, I agree with both of you that McLaren's not going to come out of this unscathed, and more importantly, Zach Brown is not going to come out of this unscathed. I have the unfortunate affliction of seeing the Netflix Drive to Survive clip of Zach Brown going arrivederci at one of the Italian races. I can't remember whether it was Monza or Imola, but when we were in Italy, it's the only thing that kept coming out of my mouth. I kept saying arrivederci in Zach Brown voice, and I fear that that has stuck, and I keep saying it.
What's worse, seeing that or seeing his ugly ass feet in that shot of him at the pool?
The feet in the pool will scar me and haunt me forever. It is
Yeah,
spooky season, so it's appropriate you bring that up. But it does one thing that is working in my favor is that not a lot of people know that I'm quoting Zach Brown when I say
sure.
arrivederci.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, like as the media keeps coming out, we'll stay on top of it. Could be a recurring segment as news breaks, but I gotta just put a quick plug out to team CEOs, team principals, like maybe stay off WhatsApp. Just quick thought, we've learned about it from Horner. We're learning about it from Zach Brown. So just a quick plug for WhatsApp. Maybe do some marketing and training with CEOs and principals. Just thought. Okay. That's all I have on that one. And then another different driver topic, also IndyCar related though. Schumacher, RLL Racing, been blowing up on the socials. He did the seat fit on Friday, tested today. Mick Scott seeming like Mick might have some options. And, I know we were texting about it earlier and I said, save it for the pod, boys. So let's talk thoughts. Mick Schumacher has been very successful with Alpine and endurance racing. He's really been finding his groove, hitting his stride. I've talked about it a lot, especially when he was in contention for the Cadillac seat. I think he is doing incredibly well in endurance racing. I would freaking love to see him in IndyCar, selfishly. I would love that because like having Mick in single seating racing, I would love that selfishly, but I think he is killing it in endurance racing. He is finding a really good stride with Alpine. So I don't know, but I would love for y'all to air out your sides of it that was on the text thread earlier that I stopped.
Josh, the floor is yours.
I think it would be damaging to Mick Schumacher's career to go to IndyCar at this stage. I think that Mick has already done a hell of a job repairing his reputation that was damaged with that failed stint with Haas. He was struggled in a team in a car that did not support him, and had to kind of fight back from that and really kind of repair his reputation in the racing world, and has done so extremely well. We now talk about him very highly in WEC. We don't speak of the terror of Haas in Gunther Steiner destroying Mick Schumacher. We don't speak of these things. So we get to now look at Mick in a different light, right? And that's just been a few short years that he's been able to do that. He's doing so well, and he's only been what is this, his second full season in WEC now? I think that was his second full season. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
But it gives him the opportunity for another season in WEC to really show what he's learned over the last 2 years and continue building on what he's already, established. I think that with the addition of Audi taking over Sauber and the next year and the next coming years as that team really gets established, it's really going to take on more of a German identity. And I think that they're going to eventually start looking for a German driver to take up the reins. And where better than to look in a young Mick Schumacher to be the next German driver, not only to take on the name and really help him with publicity, even if he was to take a third seat there for the time being, because they already have a decent driver lineup. But Hulkenberg's not going to last forever there. He's going to want to retire, and what better spot to fill than to take on a spot with a German flag on the side of the car. So I think from a business standpoint, I can see Audi wanting him to, take that third spot and learn and grow it with the team, especially with his experience in F1 and as a third reserve driver as well. But him personally, I just see the benefit of staying with Alpine as well. We see Alpine chew up drivers and spit them out on a pretty regular basis at this point. So you never know. He might just get the chance again over there. So it could happen either way for him. But I just think that coming to IndyCar would limit his potential for growth going forward. What do you think, Paul?
Let me just ask you a question real quick. Are there any German drivers in F2 right now that are doing anything productive? You tend to follow F2 a little more than I would.
Not that are not under contract. Let me make sure I'm not telling you something wrong. But not that come to mind
While he looks
immediately.
that up, I'll just pull up this great photo of me and Mick
Oh,
while this was after I recollected myself from my walking out, and the first person I see being Nick DeVries and me just panicking and shouting howdy and then walking away. So I got it back together.
Did you happen to walk out of a bathroom when you ran into him? Because you have a tendency to come out of the bathroom and meet drivers.
I do not. I do not. We were walking to the bathroom at the same time. Scott McLaughlin and I were walking at the same time. And I'm like, please.
That's my narrative, and I'm sticking with it. Okay.
I was like, no, good sir. I was like bowing like a servant. I'm like, no, Scott McLaughlin, you use this restroom. You.
Anytime Meredith needs to go to the bathroom, you follow her because she's going to run into some sort of driver or somebody of importance.
No. I had recollected my thoughts by this time after my embarrassing first moment. I didn't expect Nick DeVries to be the first one there. I panicked,
Fair enough. Josh, were you able to find something out?
Yes. So the driver that I was thinking of, but I didn't want to say anything incorrect. It does have a long contract. It's Oliver Goeth. He is the only driver that is of German that is flying the German flag in F2 and has a long-standing contract with Red Bull. And Red Bull does not.
But we all know how contracts work. They're all can get bought out.
But Red Bull does tend to like keeping their potential youth drivers a little more under lock and key.
They've chosen Arvid Lindblad.
Well, that's
what?
But this is going to be Oliver's first season in F2.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are already rumors that they're going to move him up to the V-Carb. That's Arvid Lindblad. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I cannot get it right.
Get it together.
I can't. It's like it's a VL or an LV.
How dare you not speak German?
Lindblad.
And I just wanted to know, because you had mentioned the German team and the German driver. I have to disagree with Josh. I think him going to Indy is a great move, especially if he wants to work his way back to a single seat open wheel racing once again. I think it's a way for him to prove himself that he can still do it. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's done great things in WEC. He's done a lot of good damage control with how Gunther ruined his F1 career, and I still think he's got that itch. I don't think he'll ever be able to fill his father's shoes when it comes to the world of F1, and maybe he's starting to realize that. But in order for him to really put himself back on the map as a single-seat racer, he needs to go to Indy. He needs to reinvent himself again, and I think what better way to do it than to do IndyCar. And I think the American market would really welcome him with open arms. And it would be great for both things. It would be weird for him on ovals just because I don't think he's got that training. Um,
I mean,
but
but a lot of IndyCar drivers don't when they start, you know?
sure. But I think what I was trying to say is it'd be a great challenge for him to try to do it. I think it would be a great marriage for both. I think I can't speak for Josh, but I think Meredith and I would be super stoked to see him in IndyCar. And I know his true goal is to get back in F1. I just don't see that happening. Alpine, the F1 Alpine team is garbage. That car is not going to get any better.
Huh, huh. Wow. Look at that. You talking shit about Alpine on the podcast. That's rich, Paul. Huh.
Fair enough. But the Alpine F1 team did not comment on what I said on TikTok. So
Uh,
what I'm trying to say is I don't think in the next couple years there's anything definitive for him to do in F1. Cadillac's already got settled with Colton Herta getting that spot. I don't. Audi's a big question, but every year there's tons of really good F2 drivers. Are they going to want to look in that direction? I think Hulk has maybe another year to two left in him. So that's 2 years, maybe three, that he doesn't get a chance at F1. Is Alpine going to get any better? We still don't know what they're doing. They've been hot garbage. So if he wants to do any type of open wheel single seat racing, IndyCar is the way for him to go, and I think it would be a great way for him to rejuvenate his career and really put the doubters at rest. And maybe he can make his lineage and his legacy in IndyCar.
so let me
I
ask you
just
this,
think
Paul.
that
What drivers have you seen go from IndyCar to F1 versus how many drivers have you seen go from WEC to F1? The reason I ask is there's not really a need for a driver to maintain like a single seat category. Like that's not really a thing that is too concerning. It's really more so about driving in these premier teams with the connections in those teams to put you back in the spot for potential to move on to F1. IndyCar is a a more of a serious competitor in open wheel than it has been in years past, right? It's getting a little bit more international support, but it's still not to the level where we're going to see guys consistently having opportunities to go to F1. We've seen a handful now with Colton Herta, Alex Palou, but no real serious contender for seats versus these European guys. And so I think that if you want to isolate yourself with the American motorsport scene, like sure, like IndyCar is a great spot to go. But if you want to maintain your European standing where you're racing on a lot of the same circuits that the F1 guys are racing on, and if you want to be in a lot of these teams that have the same management and a lot of the same guys working on them as the F1 programs, like you got to keep your nose where you can be seen. That's just what I'm thinking on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong there. I would love to see the raw numbers on who gets more exposure, which is it endurance or IndyCar. I would beg to say that endurance gets more of the exposure when it comes to the European market. I see where you're coming from, but ultimately, I'm still gonna rest on. I'm still gonna sit on the fact that I think Indy's a good move for him.
I would argue that this is less about, what's the better pathway to get him back into F1 at this point. Like he's been out of F1 for several years. He did not have a successful stint in F1, like we've been highlighting. I would argue that we're more so at the point where this is about what does he want for his career? What does he want his brand to be? Does he want his brand to be getting back into Formula One to carry on the Schumacher legacy? Then, yeah, he'll make a decision about what he thinks is going to be best in terms of what he thinks is going to give him a better access to F1. If he's at a point where he wants to rebrand himself, make his own name rather than like trying to quote fill the shoes of his dad, which I think is like an unfair expectation to put upon any driver, any legacy, my husband and I were talking about like Archie Manning, the UT quarterback, and like the expectations that are being placed on him as a Manning when he has it's his first season. It's like give the kid some time to adjust, right? Well, Schumacher didn't have the time to adjust, right? So I think it's about does he want to rebrand himself to just like have his own legacy, win in whatever racing series it is that he chooses to be a part of? Then great. Like I'm a Schumacher fan, so I'll support him whatever he chooses. And I'm also fortunately for me, I'm a fan of both WEC and IndyCar, so I get to watch him regardless. I think it's ultimately going to come down to what does he want his brand to be, and what does he feel is going to align with that better. also, this was just a test, like RLL Racing hasn't made an offer for a seat yet. This was just like a test, right? So I think we'll see pretty quickly. But Josh, before your text today, I had never once thought about the German connection and the Audi potential when Hulkenberg is ready to retire. So that's the first time that I thought of that. So I think it'll be interesting to watch how that progresses.
If you read that article I sent in the group chat, it sounds like RRL Racing really wants him, and and
Yeah, no
and at
doubt. I mean,
and at
if you're RLL Racing, having Schumacher, that's hugely marketable, especially after the success that he's been having with Alpine
correct.
Endurance.
I think it's all on the Schumacher camp. I think it's what is he gonna go back to talk to his camp about and hopefully make a decision in the next coming weeks. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
These are the off-season things we like to see. I know that it'll be interesting to see what other IndyCar news breaks as we kind of get into to more of the off-season. But the off-season doesn't last super long with IndyCar because then all of a sudden they're going to have to be selecting drivers, doing seat fittings, getting back ready, getting ready for a season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as like F1 kind of winds down their season. IndyCar is off season, but then starts to pick back up pretty quickly. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see the news.
because they're back up and racing in March, so hopefully they've got to make a decision. I as much as I would like to see him in IndyCar, I would hate to see him take a nosedive and maybe not do so well in IndyCar because I think that would really tarnish his career. And I would have to agree with Josh. He's doing so well in WEC that maybe going to IndyCar, there's that possibility that let's be honest, RL Racing is not a Chip Ganassi, it's not Penske. It doesn't have this endless amount of money where they can promise him the world. So he's still going into, for lack of a better phrase, he's still going to the Haas of IndyCar, where it's a small team. And what kind of promises and guarantees are they going to give him to have a competitive car week in and week out? Because it would be a real kick in the gut if he comes to IndyCar and he's fighting for last or second to last or top five or bottom five. So in that sense, I'd have to agree with Josh that he's doing so well with WEC, and that WEC team is doing so well that it would be a step down for him to come to IndyCar and have a bad showing.
Well, time will tell. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. But I would imagine that if they're going through all the trouble of bringing him out for a weekend, doing a seat fit, I would imagine that if testing went well today, I would imagine they will make him an offer. So we'll probably know within the next few weeks.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll know within a couple of days here. You know how the internet works. Somebody's going to have answers for us.
Yeah. The only other notable thing, I didn't watch any of the IMSA race. I watched football all weekend, so I didn't watch any of the IMSA race, but I'm already excited to watch the Podium Pop episode because they do great IMSA coverage, and one of the hosts of Podium Pop went to the race, so I'm excited to see their episode recapping it all. But I did watch a little bit of the NASCAR race, and Denny Hamlin finally broke his curse and won his 60th career win, so that's super, super cool, super emotional interview. That was a pretty awesome win to see him come back at those last like 15 laps. So that was a pretty cool one. Any other racing news that you guys saw this weekend?
No, all weekend I was watching college football and then regular NFL. So I saw that they were doing some IMSA racing. I just didn't get a chance to catch it.
I felt like the football games were so good this weekend that my plan was like to flip around between like football games and IMSA, and then I was just like totally forgot IMSA racing was on. So
Yeah, I was
and it was
watching.
the last race of the season. So I'm like,
Yeah, so many good
we got
games.
one more WEC race. So endurance racing is wrapping up.
Yeah, no, I was tied up watching the Texas game, and then I switched over to the Tennessee game. It was just a lot.
Yeah, being from Texas, that Red River rivalry has always been a pretty big game, and you always watch it. And I was pretty shocked by Texas beating the pants off OU.
Man, yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. But when
Loved it.
Oklahoma throws 3 interceptions, it's kind of tough to win a game like that. So I'm really rooting for Arch Manning. I hope he can really pull it off and get it together. I think we forget that this is his first year starting, but when you have the last name of Manning, there's some pretty big shoes to fill.
Yep. Well, any other thoughts, Josh? Any other thoughts, Paul, before we wrap this thing up?
Nope. Next time you hear from us, we will be on the grounds of the
Mhm.
American or the U.S., whatever we're calling it. We'll be in COTA, damn it.
United States Grand Prix.
We'll be in COTA doing a lot of dumb shit.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. Okay, team. Well, we will wrap this episode up. Thanks for hanging in with us. We will be live at COTA this weekend, so look out for socials this week. There's clips the pod. This one will be up tonight, and then we'll have socials all week. This weekend we will be out. Just a reminder, first 3 that find us get koozies, and we'll be posting where we are each day. We'd love to meet and talk with any of you that are going to be there. So we'll post each day where we're going to be hanging out, sitting, watching racing, and we look forward to meeting you 3 in person, the 3 of us in person, and meeting as many of you as we can this weekend. And with that, we'll sign off. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Yeah. Take
See you
care,
guys.
everybody.